Congressman Warren Davidson, a Republican from Ohio, joining me now for an exclusive morning TV interview. Good morning to you first. Tomorrow, you are introducing this bill in the House called the Stop the Cartels Act. It proposes increasing sanctions on cartels, pressuring Mexico to resume cooperation with U.S. law enforcement, requiring reporting on the cartel's drug and human trafficking. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think we need to frame the debate properly. While, one of the segments you just highlighted earlier, there are reasons why people want to come to America. This is really the land of opportunity for everyone who's here, and we're so grateful for those of us who've been born and raised here. What a blessing. And so it's easy to understand why people want to come. We often frame it as an issue of border security or immigration, both of which are broken and ineffective right now. But we need to focus on stopping the cartels. The cartels are exploiting these people, and they're poisoning our country. I mean, the drugs are already bad, but they're poisoning them with fentanyl. It's killing. Last year, drug overdoses, over 100,000 people, leading cause of death among 18 to 45-year-olds. There is no part of America that isn't being affected by this insecure border. And so we have to treat the intelligence collection on par with collecting intelligence about ISIS or North Korea, Iran. That's the first piece of it. The second piece is making sure that we keep families together and we detain people at the border instead of releasing them into the United States so that we can properly process them. We have to reform asylum. And then the last thing is we consolidate a whole bunch of grants that go out there to help communities, and we put them into a state block grant, and we funnel them through the state governments to state governments that are willing to help enforce our laws.
I have to ask you about the human trafficking element. You mentioned asylum. Let's talk about allowing families to actually be detained together. You talk about increasing processing centers and adding more immigration judges. It would appear that would have bipartisan support. But your bill also includes reinstating former President Trump's policies, including eliminating sanctuary cities. Will that latter part be a hard sell?
Yeah, I mean, look, Nancy Pelosi isn't going to move this bill. We'd love it if she would give us a vote on it, but unfortunately, they aren't accidentally implementing these policies. They're not effective, except if you want to increase the number of people illegally in the United States, they're doing really well on that metric. What we should be doing is framing this as a stop the cartels. There's no pro-cartel lobby that I know of, and the cartels are making billions of dollars off of the current system. If they can't get into the United States, the cartels don't have a product to sell. They don't have people to extort. And if the process takes a long time, it becomes inefficient. So, we need to make the ports of entry work and make it so that we can reform immigration. There are bills on that. We need to secure the border. There are bills on that. Donald Trump had a particular approach that was proven very effective, not just a wall, but in-depth security systems and a road network around our border that massively helped our Border Patrol. When you go down and talk to them, they were seeing great results from that big investment. So we need to do all the above, and frankly, other issues that create big black markets in the United States, including our drug market. I mean, fundamentally, the issue is demand.
And really what you're saying is, and all Americans should be doing their own research and looking at the numbers of how many migrants were coming to the U.S.-Mexico border during different administrations. But we're in the now. We're looking to the future. Is this the first piece of legislation that directly addresses the cartels? And you're actually, from what it sounds like, directly addressing the cartels in a way that would see them as a foreign terror or a foreign enemy, like you would another nation.
Yeah, this is in the first section on intelligence collection. That is explicitly the purpose, to treat them as enemies of our country. We don't call them terrorists. They're transnational criminal organizations. Nevertheless, they're enemies of our country. They've contributed to killing over 100,000 Americans, becoming the leading cause of death in America. Even in the domestic market, the cartels control the market. You might see a native-born American running the streets of the drug market, but fundamentally anybody that gets involved in the drug trade finds out quickly and often fatally that the drug cartels actually own the market in the United States. The black market is massive for drugs, for guns, for labor, and for sex trafficking. The cartels operate all that. We should treat them as enemies of our country.
Congressman Warren Davidson, we appreciate your time here on Morning in America. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.